What's up, everybody? Welcome to HSM News. My name is Nick. I'm the student ministry pastor of Torrey Pines Church in the network.
And what's up, guys? I am Tim. I'm one of the student ministries pastors here at Eastlake in Chula Vista.
And today, for HSM News, we have something special. You may be wondering where Yasmin is right now. Well, Yasmin is not a father, but we are fathers. And in celebration of Father's Day that happened a few days ago, we've got a challenge. Tim, you want to explain that challenge?
Yes, if you've been in our youth groups before, you've been a victim of the bad dad jokes that Nick and I tell. And so today we're going to tell those jokes to one another in a you laugh, you lose challenge. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to tell dad jokes one after the other. If one person laughs, they lose. And if you lose, you get slapped across the face very hard. How I Met Your Mother slap bet style. It's going to be tons of fun. And the first two rounds are you laugh, you lose. But if we go past that, then the next rounds are you smile, you lose. It's going to hurt. It's going to be fun. We're excited for you guys to see this, so let's jump into the challenge.
So do us a huge favor, though. If you're watching, make sure you comment in the chat section below. Let us know what you thought was funny, if it wasn't funny, if it was cringy, all of those different things. Help us out. Tim, I think we're ready.
I'm ready, dude.
No, you ain't. Actually, you ain't ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All
okay,
right, let's do this. You want to go first?
I'm going to go first. Because
Okay,
you guys feel it. I feel it.
All right. I'm not going to laugh. He can't.
Dead puppies, dead puppies, dead puppies. Okay. What kind of egg did the deviled chicken lay? A deviled egg.
All right. You ready? I'm going to get you with this one. What do you call it when Batman skips church? What do you call it when Batman skips church?
I don't know, Nick. What do you call it when Batman skips church?
Christian Bale.
That was really funny.
That was good. You smiled.
I smiled, but it's
Smiled,
not round
but you
3
didn't
yet.
laugh.
It's
Okay.
not round 3. I
All
gotta
right,
get.
let's go.
Hey, why are skeletons so calm? Because nothing gets under their skin.
That was a good one. That was a really good
Pretty
one.
solid,
That was
wasn't
pretty
it?
good. That was awesome. But it's not as good as this next one. Here we go. All right. Why did the coach go to the bank? To get his quarterback.
Yep, that is exactly why we went. All right, so we've gone 2 rounds without laughing, which means now it is a you smile, you lose challenge. If you smile at your own joke, or if you smile at their joke, you lose. So give yourself a minute. I'm gonna lose this one so fast.
I'm not gonna smile. You won't make me smile. The only thing that makes me smile is like donuts.
I'm a positive person.
So unless it's about donuts, I'm not smiling.
Dead puppies. Dead.
Are you up? You're up?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
go.
Okay. Cool.
Nick. Where did the baby cats learn how to swim?
I don't know.
In the kiddie pool.
That was pretty good. All right. Cool. Here we go. Tim. What does a baby computer call his father?
What's that?
Dada.
Okay.
That's one.
No, I lost 100%.
You lost.
Oh, this lost, dude.
It was single elimination.
Single elimination.
Let's go! Boom! Ain't no dad bod right here. All right.
That was good though, the data thing.
The data thing.
Well, you sign off and then I'll take my punishment.
Well, Tim lost this dad challenge, so he's gonna get his punishment in just a second. But we want to thank you for tuning in to HSM News, where we share the latest and greatest with what's going on in our world and in our network. So we'll see you guys next week.
Oh. That was good.
Oh my God.
Have you ever wondered why, once we get saved, we still experience pain? I mean, we've entered God's family, right? He's a perfect God who loves and defends us. So why do we still experience pain?
Many people call this the problem of pain, which asks the question, if God is so good and all-powerful, then why is there still pain? Why doesn't he just do away with all the pain?
So Megan and I got married in 2015. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen pictures of her and my kids all over the place. But I remember when we first got married, we got married here in San Diego at the Torrey Pines golf course. And then we drove ourselves up to Chicago where we were gonna live. And man, those first few months were so much fun. Like, it was like awesome. We were like living in a great city. We were brand new married. We were in this super teeny tiny little apartment where the bathroom was literally in the closet. Like, it was kind of that vibe, but it was kind of fun, you know? There was like this cool mentality and this vibe of being newly married in a big city. And man, the first few months were so much fun, and it got even better. At about month 4 of our marriage, we found out that we were pregnant, and it was crazy. It was like this, like, what kind of a moment. It was awesome. We were so pumped. We were like, we don't really know what we're doing. We don't really have steady jobs yet, but man, I mean, if God blessed us with this pregnancy, with this child, man, this is gonna be such a great time. So, like, if you kind of don't know how pregnancies work, typically you'll kind of go through the first couple months. And the first 2 months, we weren't telling anybody. We were keeping it like our little secret. It was our treasure moment kind of thing together. And then at like 2 months, I tell my parents, Megan tells her parents, and it's like this big celebration, first grandkid on both sides of the family. It's like, woo, it's awesome. We're so excited, right? And at 3 months, you normally have the first sonogram where, you know, they go in and they see the baby. I know you guys kind of think it kind of looks like a little cloud or whatever, like kind of this soup, but it looks really cool. And it's like, there's your little bean, right? And so we go to the doctor's office. We're sitting, we're all antsy. We hadn't slept the night before. We're so excited. And we're sitting there. We get called back. Tim and Megan Holt. We're like, that's us. We're like so excited. We run into the doctor's office. She lays down on the table. The lady takes out the little sonogram stuff and starts putting it all over Megan's stomach like you'd see in the movies. And she's looking, and I'm like trying to see. Of course, you don't really know what you're looking at, so you're trying to find out. And then the doctor said something that if you've ever received bad news from a doctor, you've probably heard this noise in some way before. She goes, huh, like that, just huh. And I remember there was this moment of like my stomach dropped, and I was like, oh no, doctors don't say that when things are good. And as my stomach dropped, she said, I'm so sorry, guys, to tell you, but the pregnancy isn't viable. This one's going to be a miscarriage. The baby probably died about a couple weeks ago in the womb. And you can imagine the soul-crushing, just heart-wrenching moment of realizing that we just lost our kid. Now, guys, I know that you're in a different stage of life right now. None of you are probably getting pregnant, or at least I hope not. You're probably not getting that, but you've probably been in the room whenever someone gives you that kind of bad news. You've probably heard that bad news about a family member passing away, or maybe you've gotten a bad diagnosis yourself, but it's the kind of pain. It's not like stubbing your toe. It's not like getting your feelings hurt by a friend. It's like real deep pain that makes you question what you believe. And I remember that for me, I sat in my apartment that night, Megan and I just, like faces soaked with tears. And I remember having this thought, if God is so good and he's so powerful, why am I experiencing this deep level of pain? Well, guys, today, if you've ever experienced that, this is the episode for you. We're going to talk about just that. And I hope you know we're not going to invalidate your pain, but we want to talk about this problem of pain today on Jesus Explained.
When Jesus walked on this earth, he was exposed to so much pain, from people being sick to people not being able to walk to people being blind, you name it, he saw it. But Jesus not only saw pain from the outside, he actually experienced pain from the inside. We actually believe that Jesus' father, Joseph, died when Jesus was very young. And Jesus had to pick up the vocation of carpentry, which Joseph, his father, actually did before he passed away, so that he could help pay the bills for his mom. I mean, it would be like you having to go to McDonald's, getting a job, and then putting all your money and giving it to your mom so she could pay the bills. Jesus knew pain.
So Jesus was no stranger to being around pain, just like you and I. Let me ask you a question. How do you respond to pain? What's your way of responding? Some people are kind of like escapists. They tend to shut down or run away to things whenever real pain comes. Maybe you've experienced some real deep pain in your life and you find yourself immediately going to YouTube videos and getting on Netflix, or maybe you're scrolling through TikTok and it just kind of gives you the escape. Other people go to different things to escape pain. Maybe they'll turn to alcohol, maybe they'll turn to substance abuse, whatever it may be, they'll turn to these things to escape. Other people will choose when they really get hurt, they'll get angry at other people and even begin to hurt people around them. In fact, one really great phrase to remember as you see people hurting other people is hurt people hurt people. People that have been hurt tend to be the ones that hurt other people. For me, you'll know that I'm in pain. You'll know that when I'm hurting because I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve a little bit. I like to be extroverted and go talk to everybody. And you'll know that Tim Holt is in pain when I get really quiet. Like when I'm just standing in the corner of the room not talking to anybody, that's when you should come up to me and say, dude, are you doing okay?
Now, Jesus responded differently than we do. All right, in the book of Mark, it says this: when Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him.
So picture this scene. Jairus, the synagogue leader, approaches Jesus. And in that time, synagogue leaders were religious and kind of stuck in their ways. So synagogue leaders and Jesus didn't typically get along. But Jairus was desperate. I mean, his daughter was dying, and Jesus was his only hope. Imagine having someone you really love on their deathbed. Wouldn't you do absolutely anything to heal them?
Okay, so let's keep going with this story. It says this: while Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Can you imagine being Jairus in this moment? I mean, you've gone to get Jesus and you've tried to bring him back quickly, and as you're walking towards your house, the servants come out and they say, "Jairus, I have bad news." Kind of like the doctor for me going, your daughter is dead. She's gone. And let's keep going. It says this: overhearing what they just said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." And when they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." And they laughed at him. And let me tell you why they laughed at him, because, guys, there is a massive difference between an alive person who is sleeping or even in a coma and a dead person. I had a friend of mine, he was older in years, and he passed away in his sleep, and I was there when he passed away, and he'd gone from being in a coma to passing away into the Lord's sight there. But there was a moment where every one of us in the hospital room knew that my friend Bob had gone from just sleeping to passing away, to dying. And so these people were like, "We've seen this before. Jesus, why would you say that she's just asleep?"
Imagine being Jairus. Like, think about it. Jesus comes in and your daughter actually ended up dying. And it seems like Jesus is actually making fun of the whole entire situation. I mean, what the heck, Jesus? I wouldn't want Jesus around. I would probably kick him out of my own house. But don't worry. Jesus wasn't mocking the situation. Actually, we're about to see something that many people didn't even expect from the character of Jesus.
All right, so let's finish the story. After he put all the people out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him, and he went into where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha koum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. And at this they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this, and he told them to give her something to eat.
Whoa. Okay, let's sit here and imagine this scene. Jairus' daughter is on her deathbed, and Jesus was about to go in that room, but everyone around him was telling him, "Jesus, why are you gonna go into the room with a girl that is dead on her bed when there are plenty of people who are alive that need healing and to be taught?" But here's the amazing thing about Jesus. When the world calls you hopeless, he sees you as valuable and worth the healing. So you want to know what Jesus does? He walks into that room and he tells the little girl to get up, and she does. You see, he takes pain and turns it into purpose. He sees hopelessness and turns it into healing. I want you to write this down. Jesus is the great healer.
So why does pain exist? I mean, the true answer is, I don't know. At least that's the emotional answer. The logical answer is that we know that when God loves people, it's always going to be a choice. He's not going to control people. And sometimes people choose wrongly, and that's why pain exists. That's the logical answer. But the emotional answer is, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say why does pain exist. But we know that Jesus doesn't cause pain. God doesn't cause pain at all. And we also know that pain can also be the stage in which God can do his most powerful work. We actually believe that Jesus is the great healer. We fully believe that God doesn't orchestrate pain, but that he can use pain to showcase his healing. And if I want to be honest, that's some truly good news.
Friends, it's no secret, 2020 has just been rough. It's like January hit and culture just took a huge hit as well. I mean, starting off the year, we had the fires in Australia, then arguably one of the greatest players of all time in basketball passed away, and then we went to coronavirus, and then we went into all this racial tension going on. It's like, gosh, how are all these bad things just keep piling up on each other? This is like the worst episode of Black Mirror of all time. And here's the thing is, I don't know where it's gonna go from this. I don't know if it's gonna get better. But one thing I do know is that God is a God of healing and a God of restoration.
But let's take a moment for a second. I want to ask you a question that I was reading the other day, and I think it's a great question. Here it is. Where does it hurt? Where in your body does it hurt? And that's a good question to ask. Where's your pain at right now? For Kaylia and I, my wife and I, who you see sing songs on this YouTube video, that same person is my wife, and we actually have talked a lot about the George Floyd incident, and we're actually struggling with what do we do in response? Kaylia is part Black, she's part Mexican, she's part white. Her father is half Black, and when he was younger in the 1990s, he was with his Black friends and one white person. They went to Denny's, and the owner comes out of Denny's, gets the only white friend out of the whole entire group and says, we can't serve you. I mean, imagine being Canton, which is Kaylia's dad. That's racism right there. And before that, Canton's father and mother went through the civil rights movement. Their family has experienced so much racism. So Kaylee and I are stuck knowing, or thinking, what do we do now? We've protested, we've prayed, we've contacted people so we can learn more. We've watched documentaries, movies, you name it. We're trying to learn, but right now, the pain point is the systemic racism that we don't really know what to do with right now and how we can be more of a part of the solution than the problem. That's our pain point. What's yours?
Let me point you back to the story of Jesus. Everyone looked at Jesus like he was wasting his time, right? This little girl's dead. Why are you here? There are more people to heal. But what did he do? He marched right past the people who said it was a waste of time, right up to the dead girl and called her to rise up, get out of your bed. And against all the odds in the world, she did. No one's ever been raised to life by someone before, and she was raised to life. She was healed. Friends, can I talk to you for a second? There are some pain points in your life and deep pain in your life that exists, and they seem hopeless and irreversible. I know that for me, COVID-19, quarantine, coronavirus, it's almost brought those things back up because I've been shut in with my thoughts. I've had time to think. I wonder if that's like you. If there are some problems and pain points in your life that feel so hopeless that it feels like a little dead girl laying on the bed. It feels like there's nothing that we can do now. The time is done. And some of you may look at Jesus and say, Jesus, your time would be better spent with someone else because I'm a waste of time. I'm already hopeless. I know I've had conversations with some of you like that. But let me tell you the good news about this story, the best news about this story about Jesus being the great healer. And here's how it applies to your life. Jesus marches right past your doubts. Jesus marches right past your fears, your insecurities. He looks at you. He looks at those fears, those pain points that feel dead on the bed, and he says, rise up, get out of bed. Guys, the day that we found out about the miscarriage with our first child was November 5th. I remember the day. I wrote it down. It's seared into my memory. And then later on when we had Declan, we were so scared because you can imagine we'd gone from miscarriage to another pregnancy. We're like, we don't want to go through that pain again. And that first one was on November 5th. And let me tell you what happened is we go to the doctor's office and we're like, oh my gosh, is this going to be another miscarriage? It was our first sonogram. And the doctor looks in and she's like, hey, it's a healthy baby, heartbeat, everything's great. And we were like, whoa, that's crazy. Like we're like reeling from it. We didn't expect the good news. It was like Jesus has done a healing, but then Jesus did something even better. It wasn't just like he healed us, he went above and beyond, because remember I told you that we found out about that miscarriage on November 5th? I look at the nurse and I'm just through like tears in my eyes. I say, when is the baby due? Like, what's the due date? And she said, hey, the due date based on our calculations would be November 5th. You see, when Jesus heals, he heals all the way. When Jesus looks at the dead parts of you, he says, rise up, get out of bed. It's time to move, friends. So friends, put the hopelessness aside. Look at Jesus and place your faith in him and say, Jesus, I want you to raise the dead things out of the bed here. I want you to raise these things. I want you to heal me in some areas. Jesus says this, your healing's here. I've got the power to heal and I desire to heal you. So rise up. A lot of the time, all that Jesus is waiting for you to ask is for him to heal you. In fact, one of the most awesome questions Jesus asks a lot of the people that he heals is, what do you want me to do for you? In fact, he asked this little blind man one time, and I'd imagine if I was the blind man, I'd be like, isn't it obvious? I want to see. But Jesus desires for you to go on ahead and tell him. So I want to invite you to this next time of worship. We're going to sing a really awesome song called Oceans, and it's a really beautiful song that we're going to walk through. But here's what I want you to do during this song. I want you to ask him to heal the hurts that are going on in your life. What's that pain point that you feel like is long past gone? I want you to, during this song, say this prayer. The prayer is basically just this. It says, Jesus, I believe you're the great healer. I really need healing in this area of my life. And you fill that thing in, with whatever that pain point is. God, would you heal me? That's what I want you to do. And during this song, pray that prayer as many times as you want to. Take the time to pray it. And the bridge of this song is so great. It says that God is going to lead us out to where our trust is beyond borders. I love that. It's like Jesus is saying, I want to heal you. And it's going to take you some trust in me, put your faith in me, but I want to heal you of some hurts. Before we go do that, I want to just give you a quick offering. If you need to talk to anybody about healing that needs to happen in your life, if you've got like a deep problem that you're like, Tim, I don't know if this is just going to go away, we want you to DM us on our Instagram. It's united.hsm. And if you need to talk to somebody, we're going to be here for that. But for the rest of you guys, during this worship song, Jesus, I believe you're the great healer. I really need healing in this area of my life. Would you heal me? Let's worship together.
Great unknown, where feet may fail, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand, and I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. Yeah. Grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. the storms. Oh. We put our trust in you. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Oh, my Savior. Oh, you're all we need. You're everything. Oh, my God. Oh, I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine.
Hey guys, thank you so much for spending some time to worship with us. Again, if you need to reach out to anybody, to talk to anybody, reach out to us on united.hsm, our Instagram page. We'd love to connect with you there. Hey, but two last things really quick. First of all, Next Steps is coming up right after this. We would love to spend some time with you on a Zoom call. We're going to be going over the message, making some new friends. We did it a couple weeks ago. It was so much fun. I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. So come be a part of that thing. The link is going to be in the live chat right now. And the second thing is baptisms are coming up. If you want to be baptized, we are having baptisms this Sunday at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. here at the church. You can go sign up on our website, eastlake.church. Just click baptisms, fill that thing out. We would love to be there to experience that with you. Well, we love you guys, and we will see you guys next week.